The next instrument is isoelectric focusing. Isoelectric focusing is a form of electrophoresis widely applied for the separation of proteins, peptides, and enzymes. It is used to determine the isoelectric pH of proteins and to separate proteins from one another on the basis of differences in their isoelectric points. The method was developed in the 1960s by H. Swenson and O. Wester. In one form of isoelectric focusing, the glass column is filled with a solution of synthetic charged ampholytes, that is aliphatic amino carboxylic acids of various molecular weights, having a broad and continuous range of isoionic points. The ends of the column contain the electrodes and electrodes solutions such as a strong organic base for the cathode, usually ethanolamine, and a strong acid for the anode, usually phosphoric acid. The distribution of constituents in the column is stabilized by the presence of a sucrose density gradient that prevents convection during electrophoresis. The mixture of proteins to be separated may initially be confined to a specific region of the column or uniformly distributed through the density gradient. When a potential is applied to the electrode, the ampholytes migrate in the column to positions where they are equally attracted by both electrodes. Thus, they arrange themselves in order of their isoelectric points, the most acidic ampholytes being located near the anode and the most basic near the cathode. Proteins close to the anode will bear a net positive charge and be repelled by the electrode, whereas the same protein near the cathode carry net negative charges and are repelled by that electrode. As a result, most protein will migrate away from the electrodes and towards the center of the column. Protein migrates away from the anode become less and less positive as they pass through region of increasing pH, whereas the protein migrating away from the cathode become less negative, and eventually the net charge of each protein becomes zero as that region of the pH gradient corresponding to the isoelectric pH is reached, and at that time the electrophoretic migration of the protein ceases. Consequently, the proteins become distributed through the gradient as a series of narrow zones in order of their isoelectric points. Once the migration of all proteins terminates, the contents of the column may be drained and the separated point proteins collected as the series of fraction and further studied. The isoelectric points of each protein is determined from the pH profile of the collected gradient. And the next instrument is protein or amino acid analysis. This is the structure of protein or amino acid analysis. It is an instrument based on ion exchange liquid chromatography used to provide qualitative and quantitative analysis. And principle. The basic principle of this operation is the continuous flow of liquid chromatography procedure developed by Spackman, Moore, and Steen in 1952. This system is referred to produce fully automatic, high speed and sensitive analysis procedure. A sample containing a mixture of amino acid is loaded on a column of cation extent resin. Buffers of varying pH and ionic strength are then pumped through the column to separate various amino acids. The column temperature is accurately measured to produce required separation, and the common eluent is mixed with the ninhydrin reagent. This mixture is passed through the high temperature reaction coil. In the reaction coil, ninhydrin reacts with amino acid present in the eluate to form colored compounds. And the amount of colored compounds produced is directly proportional to the quantity of amino acid present in the eluate. From the reaction coil, the eluate ninhydrin mixture is fed up with the photometer unit to determine the amount of light absorbed at 570 nanometer to 440 nanometer. The photometer up to is connected to a two-channel chart recorded which plot amino acid concentration as a peak. The retention time of peak, the chart identifies the amino acid. The area under the peak indicating the quantity of amino acid present in the sample. And the application of protein or amino acid analysis. All amino acid analysis systems are completely automatic. All functions of the analysis are controlled by the software, and it has a 40-year history in amino acid analysis. Thank you.